Okay, we are on right now. This is Auto Ring Magazine coming live at you. Your boy, your one and only host, D. Seymour, Kenya Johnson, Chris Thomas.
Yo,
We
what's
are
up? What's
in
up?
the house right now, and right now we just want to lead in with
What we gonna lead in with, man?
we gonna lead
We
in
got a
with
lot. We got a lot to tackle on this.
a lot. We're gonna lead in with the Porsche Taycan, and so the question that would pose, and I'm gonna pose it to Chris before I pose it to Kenya. Chris, why do you think the Porsche Taycan is selling better than the Audi e-tron?
It's
That's a
Porsche.
good question.
I think it's because it's Porsche, man. I mean, and the car, in my honest opinion, is better than e-tron. It also because they also got a very great time around the Nürburgring. I think the only thing about the car that I don't personally like is the name is a little long. There are different trims. I think they have a little bit too much on it. But again, at the end of the day, we can compare it similar to like Tesla. You buy Teslas for the name. I think Porsche is the same thing. And the car is just very nice. It's a very nice
It's a
vehicle,
nice
man.
car.
It's very nice car. I think Porsche didn't slight away from when they made their EV. They didn't make them look completely different from every other car that is in their lineup. It has that signature look that every Porsche has, and it's quick, man. I mean that's a very quick car. Interior, I mean, it's like it feels like you're getting into a Porsche. It doesn't really feel like you're just getting into a completely different car compared to what is also sold in their lineup. It just feels like you're really getting into a Porsche. It gives you that real experience. Obviously, aside from the noise, that's the only thing you can knock it for is the EV. But everything else, I mean, I personally love the car, man. I have really no gripes with that car. I think they can only improve from here. It should be selling more, in my opinion. But I think the only reason that is because it is in the higher side. It is pretty pricey. But compared to the E-Tron GT, which I also love, and I have a neighbor that has one, I just think they're not two different types of cars, but they have a different finish with them. I think that Taycan is like, it screams like just Porsche. I think the e-tron is kind of separate from whatever else Audi is releasing, in my honest opinion. It's still a very nice car. Both of them very nice cars, but I think in the end, if I had to pick one, I'm going with the Taycan. The Taycan. It's just a better car to me, in my honest opinion.
Okay. I'm gonna have a
So he
question
said.
for you. All right,
That's
Kenya, the
right, Kenyon.
same
That's right.
question. Why do
Well,
you think the Porsche is selling better than the e-tron?
man, look, man, like, well, I don't know if it's a lack of education, but I guess one case could be because the base price of the Taycan is 99,000, or pretty much 100,000, and what you get with that, or at least in the previous generation, was just 400 horsepower and what 250 miles of range or 300 miles of range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The E-Tron GT is so its base price is at 106,000.
Yep.
And keep in mind that these cars are pretty much the same. They have the same platform. They have the same electric motors, the same battery pack, close to the same size, 10 kilowatt hour difference. Um, with the e-tron GT base trim, you get 469 horsepower. And the range is close. I think it's off by maybe 30 miles or 40 miles from the Taycan.
Just so we get this clear, are you picking the e-tron GT over the Taycan?
Honestly, yes, I would pick the E-Tron GT over the Taycan. I absolutely would. I think it looks better than the Taycan. It actually has physical buttons in it.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. Well, you
and I know most people would probably knock me upside my head for saying this. Oh, how could you pick the E-Tron GT over the Taycan? It's a Porsche, and it has more range. It has more horsepower. It's way faster than the E-Tron GT. Somebody told me that on Facebook. The E-Tron
0 to 60
GT
in
is too slow.
2.6.
What? both of them are fast. Look, 3.1 for the E-Tron. Okay,
Yeah.
the RS. So both of them are fast. You can't really. But I'm just saying that they're so close to the same. You not. It's really kind of awkward because if you look at the E-Tron GT, if you look at the Taycan, it has what? The range is similar. I think in some cases they're saying the range is the same, and depending on which trim level you get, you know, it's really not much difference. The E-Tron GT's base price is just a little bit higher, but you're gonna get what? A little bit
They're
more
getting
horsepower.
both around the same, around 227. I think the E-Tron GT is at 232 miles range. I think the Taycan
Is that
4S is like 227, I believe.
Yeah,
So
something
they're
like
practically
that.
the same.
And those are going to be
range.
the
That's such a
volume
small
selling
margin.
ones.
So
Yeah, those are going to be the volume selling ones because those are the ones that are most affordable. So those are the ones you're going to probably see the most on the road. I mean, I see the Taycan. Unsurprisingly, I see the Taycan often. But
very often.
I don't
I tell you,
think
you don't see that E-Tron GT very often.
I don't. And I don't understand that. And this is where I'm going with this because you can't say that. I don't know if I could really sit here and say that the E-Tron is not is less of a bargain or whatever, or it's a ripoff, it's too expensive. I can't really say that. Those cars are the biggest difference between them is the way they look. I think the E-Tron GT looks better. If you ask me, I love the way it looks inside and out. That car to me looks a little bit better than that Taycan. It just does. Range and stuff like that. If somebody says, okay, I need an extra 30 miles or 20 miles, so I'm gonna get a Taycan instead. I'm not so sure. Even if they had the same identical range and price, because the E-Tron GT doesn't go up to no 200 grand. Okay, the Taycan does.
Yeah.
So
that's the same price difference between. Yeah,
so
and the name is super long on that Taycan. That for the highest trim.
I can't really say that even if they were offered like the E-Tron GT, say if it had even more range than the Taycan, somehow I don't think that even that would make a difference. Because look at the Taycan is outselling the Panamera.
Yeah.
And that's a very strange phenomena right there. That is an anomaly because
usually the ICE always outsells.
Yeah, and
Macan's
selling better too. Macan's selling better than that Panamera too. Just so you know, I just want to throw that in.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, let's keep this. Let's keep this thing culture, okay? Let's not start a war.
Look, man, look here.
I'm just saying.
Look.
Let's stay on track.
The E-Tron GT looks better than that Taycan. I look, it thing looks beautiful, okay? But this is what I'm saying, okay? It would have to. It just doesn't quite add up because I don't think the range and anything else has much to do with it because the Taycan is outselling the Panamera. If you look at the E-Tron GT, it ain't getting nowhere near the sales of an Audi A6 and A7. It ain't getting no sales.
No.
The A7 is not selling that good, but the A7 is more expensive anyway. It's $72,000 compared to the A6, which starts at $58,000. So it's not going to do the numbers, but it's not getting nowhere close to those its ICE counterpart. Porsche, on the other hand, somehow they got the secret sauce for that Taycan. I don't know what it is, but they got something that just makes people want it. And
don't you think that Taycan was marketed a lot stronger than that E-Tron GT? Because when the E-Tron GT, you didn't, it was when it came out, I didn't think it had as much push as that Taycan did. The Taycan was on it has on a lot of ads, and you start seeing them all over the road.
Yeah, and Porsche is a bigger believer in I think EVs being the future than Audi is in general. What were you going to say,
Okay,
Doc?
let me interject. I want to interject a question. Right, it's a question that I asked last podcast. Right, and I want Kenyon to go first with this one. Kenyon, do you think the reason or the rationale of Porsche selling more Taycans than Audi selling more e-trons is because of, is it brand loyalty, or is it the Cachet developed around the Porsche brand? So are people attracted to the gimmick behind the Porsche emblem, right? Or are they attracted to the car because of its physical appearance? What do you think actually is pulling people into the Porsche
Emblem,
Taycan?
I think Chris is right. I think it has something to do
Okay.
with it's a combination of things. I
that
think it has
badge.
something to do with that badge because take a
Yep.
look at the A7 and the Panamera. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, they're the same car. They got the same engine underneath. They both have that same turbocharged V8. It's just detuned inside the A7. And the thing is yeah, it is detuned in the A7. And also has the same V6 in the S7 at the lower trim levels of the Panamera. That V6
Mm-hmm.
that produces 444 horsepower, that's also in the lower level trims of the Panamera. And so, but if you look at the numbers, which one is outselling which? The Panamera, which is actually more expensive than the A7. You know, I don't think that the A7 is doing the Panamera's numbers. If we can look at that, you know, I'm willing to bet you that the Panamera is outselling the A7. So it does have something to do with the badge. Even though the A7 is a better deal, it has something to do with that badge. And to be honest, yes, Porsche is gonna have probably a higher build quality than the Audi, and because it's a Porsche, it's exotic, um, and it has a lot of history behind it, and the way they drive is magnificent, is brilliant, is genius, um, and so that
It all
also
screams
plays a
Porsche
part.
when you get in that car.
Yeah, I get that. People feel like they're driving a 911, with four seats in it, and they are.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, so let me ask you this, not to cut you out, Kenyon, but Chris. So you already answered it, kind of, sort of, but do you think it's more of a badge thing, or people are actually invested in this product?
Badge 100%. But it also is a very well put together car. But I think in order to get the sales, you got to have that nameplate, and that nameplate is what's getting these people in. And I think once now that they actually have a car, well, not now, but Porsche's always had nice, very great cars. But I think you're getting that Taycan because of the badge. But I think when you get in it, you are confirming like, okay, yeah, this is a Porsche. It just everything about that car screams and feels Porsche. Um, and I think again, like I said earlier, I think marketing wise, that car was very, very heavily marketed. Because and it was like it's almost like Volkswagen almost did like an experiment. Like they tried one with Audi where they said, well, okay, we'll just release the E-Tron GT. We'll do a little bit of promotion here and there, but we're not going to push as much as the Taycan. The Taycan was on everything. It was on newspapers. It was on car scoops. It was on every motor trend. It was on every car news media outlet. And I think once you start getting the reviewers involved, and the reviewers love it, um, they the car has gained a strong liking to it compared to the E-Tron GT. So I think, at the end of the day, in all, when someone goes out and looks for these high performance EVs, I think they're going to pick Porsche more if they're going to pick Audi. Even though
yeah,
Kenya thinks the Audi looks better in the inside
I,
than the
I
Taycan,
it looks better inside and out than that Taycan to me. It just does. Like
I,
I
I just
it
think that
just
Taycan has that
it
Porsche finish.
it
Okay.
well
I will give you
it's got a
buttons
bunch of
though. I'll give
screens
you
in it.
buttons.
Thank you.
I do give it that. The buttons, the Taycan does not have. I think if you're gonna make a car like that, that is I mean, it's obviously we saw it's great on the track. It has that real track kind of feel, that Porsche feel. I think you should give it some buttons. Now, I guarantee if that car had buttons, there wouldn't be a discussion right now. I promise you, wouldn't be a discussion. That car would blow the E-Tron GT out of the water.
Okay.
I,
Let me.
I don't know about that. I don't know
I
about
strongly
that
believe it, man.
because
We're talking Porsche. That name, it's the
I get
name.
the badge. That's the badge, but I'm talking
No,
about
you
if we take
okay?
the badge off of them.
And you put buttons in the Taycan, right?
Well, no,
Yeah,
let's
I'm
not
gonna
even
have
do
to agree
that.
with Chris. I'm gonna have to
No,
agree with
no,
Chris on
no,
this one.
no.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
I'm
gonna have
talking
to
about
agree with Chris.
inside and out. Inside and out. I'm
With
talking about
You
buttons.
the
think you
exterior.
think the
The
E-Tron
exterior
GT outside
design.
looks better than the Taycan?
Outside, the exterior design to me looks better.
No,
Yeah, it looks
no.
better. It looks better. It does. Look at that front of that E-Tron GT.
It's nice,
It's
but
so menacing.
Porsche was able to release the EV and still make it look like a Porsche. Like
I
if
get
you
it.
look,
I,
if you look at Mercedes with that, like the EQS, for example, that, I mean, come on, that doesn't have that
that thing
same
looks
kind
like a
of finish.
bug. I get it.
No, it looked like a Civic actually. It looked like a Civic. It looked like
Yeah,
no, the
I get
EQS
it.
looked like a 2004 Civic. That's no joke. I'm not even joking. I'm being honest. It looked like a
with the
2004.
lunar excursion module screen, like you're
Exactly.
inside of a spaceship. That, you know what's that? Just for 1 second, that's me and Kay I always make that point. I said, isn't it interesting that if you're looking at getting an airplane or a spaceship, there's buttons everywhere. There is not a single screen unless it's displaying something, and it's not touch screen. It's just to display data. If
Exactly.
you get in, it's interesting how on those they got buttons because they know buttons are reliable, buttons are practical. But you get in the
Yeah.
car, there's screens all over the place.
And no
I mean,
redundancies
it
whatsoever.
makes no sense why cars are putting screens on the passenger side. What is this guy next to me got to look at while I'm driving? What is he? There's no need for that. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But I had to just throw that in. That's just always bothers me about these cars.
And that's a valid point. So I want to segue into this question, right? The Audi is in America is coming in at $107,000 base.
Yes, and the
Base.
Taycan is coming in at 99,000. But
Exactly. All right.
it's okay.
So
We're talking
that
about
could
base trims.
be a partial reason why somebody will choose the Taycan over the e-tron. Do you think so? All right, the
I think
possibility.
from a marketing perspective, you look at 99, look at 101. I think even though they're practically the same number, it's still that you're gonna have that unconscious thought like, okay, this one's cheaper than this one, even though once you sign on the dealership paperwork, it's gonna be the exact same in the end. Like you're gonna
Exactly,
get the same. It's
exactly,
gonna be it's gonna be the same car priced the same way in the end
Yeah,
once everything is
exactly.
is done.
that's true. But I think it does have a lot to do with the badge, though, because people are going to be like, "Why in the world would I pay this much for an Audi,
Yep.
instead of a Porsche?"
Yeah.
Well, because I mean
Why?
the Taycan is better,
And
but
that's the thing. Like, why is the base trim of the e-tron GT? Why don't they go down, son? Because I guess the fact is that you can't go too far down, because if you go too far down, then you won't have any range. Then you'll have like a 150-mile range car just to make it
No,
cheaper than the
I,
Taycan.
yeah.
yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that because I think it's more of a cockiness and arrogancy about that because I
From
believe it's more.
Audi
Yeah,
over
listen,
Porsche.
listen. No, from Audi, listen. It's more of. It's also a a gluttony type mentality. I want to get everything that's on the table, right? Financially, right? And so I want to price it as high as possible, right? And with that, it's really a sign of a lack of insight. You not at that level that Porsche is. Porsche has always been commanding these price ranges, period, right? Porsche had a cult following, right? And so Porsche has
And it's
always
rightfully
delivered.
earned. It is
Exactly.
rightfully earned.
It's rightfully on. In fact, they say I think I could be wrong about 60 to 40% of all Porsches made are still on the road today. Right?
Yeah.
That's standing from almost 50, 60 years ago. So they have a cult following. So they already have the market for the Taycan, right? So that being said, I think it part and parcel is the brand, right? Is that badge that people are attracted to. They don't know nothing about Porsche. They don't know nothing about Porsche heritage, but
They
they
know
are
that bad.
attracted to that badge, right? To say, oh, I got me a Taycan, and they don't even know what it is. In fact, they don't even say Taycan. They say, I got me a Panamera, and you go out there and you see it's a Taycan. You like, do you know what car you got? You know, and
You bought the
so
wrong thing.
exactly, and so I think it's about that. But when it comes to the Audi, though, I do understand Kenya because it is more of a traditional take on a sedan, right? It has a traditional styling cues of a
Yeah,
sedan, right?
it
I would
almost looks
say,
like I said, Porsche has that look.
yeah,
They have that finish, and they were able to transition that to the EV. I think Audi just kind of just I'm not gonna say complacent, but I will
played it
say
a little bit too
complacent.
safe.
Yeah, too safe to where it just kind of looks like a regular Audi. But
I
again,
don't know
and it's
about
also
that.
EV.
I
So
love the way that thing looks, man.
when I'm a buyer though, okay, if I'm a buyer, Kenya, and I go out to a dealership to look for my sporty EV, you know, when I go to Audi and I get an E-Tron GT, and I've seen it up close, been in it. It's a great car, but I haven't been in the Taycan ever. But just looking at that car and seeing that it has that Porsche finish with everything to it, as a buyer, I would go pick that car over an e-tron because I feel like I'm just getting another Audi that's just overpriced.
Okay,
In my honest opinion, I think I think it's a little. It's not. Okay, I won't say it's overpriced, but I think if you put $101,000
Yeah,
on a car like that, and I'm getting the same thing as this Taycan, but this Taycan's really got a real Porsche finish to it with that real Porsche feel. Why would I go pick the Audi? I'll go get the Porsche, and they're under the same family.
yeah,
yeah, and they're on the
that's
same platform
100%
using the
true.
same battery pack and the same electric motors too. And here's
Yeah,
the thing: I don't want you guys to get me wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say I would choose Audis over Porsche in general. Because if you ask me, if you put an R8 and a 911 turbo in front of me, I'm going to choose a 911 turbo. If you put the Panamera
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
the A7 or the A6 in front of me, I'm going to choose a Panamera. If you put the
I
Cayman,
don't know, man.
if you put the Cayman, if you put the Cayman in front of me and the Audi TTRS, I'm gonna choose a Cayman. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
don't get me wrong. Generally speaking, I love Porsche. But I just made an exception for the E-Tron GT in this case. In
okay,
terms of
okay.
looks, I'm
You
not
put
even
that.
talking
You would
about
pick
range
that.
because, to be honest, you ain't going nowhere for neither one of them cars.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, 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 no,
That's
no.
you ain't
realistic.
going to
That's
no
realistic.
Mobile,
No,
Alabama. You
no.
ain't going to no
Yeah, no, no.
Montgomery. I ain't gonna drive up there to Memphis, Tennessee, and see Donald and no Taycan or no E-Tron
Yeah,
GT. It ain't gonna
your
happen.
trip be about 12
Yeah,
hours, 14 hours long. Yeah,
yeah,
you're not gonna get nowhere. But wait a minute. You said you picked the Panamera over the A6?
yeah.
Absolutely. Come on,
Come on,
Chris.
Chris. Chris,
Chris,
come on,
man,
man. We was
are
on
you
a
serious?
roll.
We were
I,
doing good, man.
Oh
listen.
What happened,
man.
bro?
Okay. I
What
mean,
happened?
we talking base trim,
We
base trim.
A6.
talking whatever
Are we
trim,
talking
man.
about
S6. We can
we
talk about
talking
it.
about
Like, okay, I get you on the Panamera Turbo S. Yeah, yeah, that one right there. I'll pick over A6,
over the
but
A6?
Any one of them. I picked the Panamera.
I will have to agree with Kenya. I do. This is why I will say A6 is one of my favorite sedans out of Audi lineup. Period. It's one of their favorite
Yeah,
cars.
it looks way
Period.
better
My
than
yeah,
the
and
very
Cayman.
yeah.
very nice
So
car.
yeah.
So
But I will have to choose the Porsche over the A6 any day. Right. My question is now when you see the portfolio of Audi and you see the portfolio of Porsche, you see both of their resumes, right? Do you believe because of their history is what presented to us today with the Audi e-tron not selling as well as
Absolutely.
the
19 Le
okay.
Mans wins. Let's not forget
hey,
that.
Audi has
19
what,
Le Mans
13?
wins, man.
We got what, 13?
Listen.
Audi got
Audi
13.
will forever be Porsche's little brother when it comes to you look at it just from a racing perspective.
Okay.
They will
True.
always be their
Uh,
little brother.
Okay.
I'm telling you,
You know what?
19 wins, Ken.
Yeah,
19
I
wins.
give it to him, man. Look, Audi stole one on him too. They raced 3 times against one another now. Audi took
Yeah,
one. So, Look,
But we're
look.
talking. I mean, when you think of a race car, man, aside from thinking from the Lamborghini and the Ferraris, you think Porsche. And Porsche is
True.
always that one car. And no matter what you put it up against, you can put it up against a Lamborghini, you can put it up against a Ferrari, you can put it under any of these supercars out here. A 911 Turbo S will give you a run for your money any day of the week. A GT4S will give you a run of the money any
Yeah,
day of the week.
absolutely. And I agree
Any of
with you.
them.
And I pick most of their lineup over. Of course, I would. Who in the world would not like pick a Porsche over more of a mainstream luxury car maker? Porsche is
Oh yeah,
exotic, and so I'm not. Nobody. I'm not going to be stupid and you know because you have to earn a brand. You have to build a brand.
that's right.
You have to earn a nameplate, and then Porsche has earned it, and they've been doing what they have to do to keep it. And so, yes, their cars are engineered the heck out of very well. So, yeah, of course, you know, they earn their reputation.
Yeah.
So,
But
do
but
you
that
think? Okay, for the summation of Porsche, from what I'm hearing from the both of you guys, that Porsche is not resting on their laurels. They are continuing to surpass, the things that they have done in the past. Whereas a lot of car companies get complacent and
Yeah.
they become safe, traditional type people,
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Yeah. I
okay,
absolutely. I
would
mean,
definitely say
that's the
Porsche has been
one
the one that
car
does that.
maker that does not get complacent. Like that
Nope.
is just a fact.
And when they know something works, they don't have to feel the need to always change it.
exactly.
I get sick and tired of seeing comments on Instagram posts and their TikTok people saying Porsches have the same body style since, but you must not
It works
understand
for
cars
them.
at all.
It's just,
You must not understand anything about cars because if you know the reason why a 911 has always looked the way it does, everything down to the engine displacement and everything, you know that's the way that car is designed is genius engineering. There's no need to
yeah,
change it. You don't have to
yeah,
touch anything. That car is made the way it's made because it performs. It always is going to perform the way they expect it to, and that's top of the charts always. You don't get 19 Le Mans wins changing nonstop. You don't always feel the need to always change something and move things around. You don't do that and get 19 Le Mans wins. So you got to understand history and a little bit about cars to know that the reason why Porsche is not changing the way their car is designed is because it works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
don't fix it. That's true. I agree with everything he said. I don't need to say
Okay,
anything.
okay. Moving on. I got a little fun question for both you guys. So considering the market, considering like the success of the Taycan, do you believe if we develop or we so happen to get a cheaper version, right, from another brand, do you think it would be successful?
Well, compared to what? Like, ask the
I'm,
question
I'm,
again.
I'm,
Sorry, I
I'm,
didn't.
I'm well, I'm going to show you the vehicle in a second. So I just want
I
you
know
guys.
what it is. I already know what it is.
I don't know. I
Okay,
don't even know. I'm gonna see this.
but I just want, okay, just after the top of your head,
A
right?
cell phone maker
Do you
from China.
believe, like hypothetically speaking, right? Understanding our culture, right? If I can't
Yeah,
get this, I'll buy this, right? Do you believe that if another company came in the doorway with a Taycan, right?
yeah.
That's 40K, that's 40,000, and got 300 miles range. Do you believe that it will be successful?
Matter of fact, I
Well,
would
how you
try
gonna get a
25,000.
Taycan at 40,000?
No,
I
no, no,
mean,
no, no, no,
25,000.
no, 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 no. You got to answer the
uh,
question. Chris, answer the question. Now,
well, I mean, the Taycan is 99, and there's a reason why it's 99. And how in the world are you gonna come with something that's gonna compete with that at 40,000?
okay. All right. So, what is your
I
answer?
want to see what this is.
Yeah,
Can you?
that
You
cell phone
know?
maker.
Can you know? What's your answer? What's your answer, Kenya?
There's no such thing.
Okay,
Too
okay,
good to be
okay. I'm
true.
about to.
not in this economy, not in this market.
Okay.
I don't know,
Champagne.
man. That's a
But
stiff. That's a stiff competition. Shoot,
Okay.
$40,000.
Block.
The Xiaomi.
SU7.
Y'all
Oh
see
man,
it?
why China always copy this? This is so corny, man. This is why I'm not gonna sit there and say, but why is China always? Are you serious? I
Okay,
still
Yeah.
wouldn't pick that. I would still wouldn't pick. That's like buying. I hate to say this, Donald, but that's like buying the Equus, the Genesis Equus when Mercedes
oh,
was still out.
oh,
That's like
oh,
you buy you can't get the real Benz, so you want to go over and get
oh,
this over a Taycan?
oh
Nah,
my God.
nah,
Man,
man.
he
Oh,
came for you.
we
He came.
always coming for fights. Okay,
Sorry.
cool.
He
Man,
really done
I got
started again.
y'all.
Oh,
I
that was
okay.
cold, Chris. That
So
was
so
cold,
okay,
I'm
man.
sorry.
okay, so so
Oh,
so look. Golly, they don't got no more so right now we on hypebeast.com.
and we're
The
looking at
Yeah,
the
there's a hype beast car. That is a hype
SU7
beast car.
it's
cell phone
actually
maker.
the Zamo is Xiaomi
Looks like
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Looks like Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi or something. I don't know.
SU7 EV, and the range is 497 miles range, right?
I want to know the battery they're using in that. I don't know if that's lithium iron phosphate cells or I know those are usually.
And
Yeah,
the
I think
0
you can
to
only. You can,
100 kilometers per hour
And
acceleration is 2.78 seconds. Wow, that's pretty good.
that's crazy.
this thing
Okay,
this thing wouldn't sell at that price in the U.S. market. It wouldn't happen. Wouldn't
For
so
happen. Not at 40,000.
yeah,
so
they're gonna go
You'd be
bankrupt.
doing yourself a disservice
China's
if you did
bad.
that.
They'll go
You'd be doing
bankrupt.
your brand a disservice.
What kind of battery
okay,
does it have in it? It must have
Yeah,
some
I
fuel
the
cell battery pack in it.
probably mostly. Okay, so this is the at carnewschina.com. This the interior.
Man,
Okay,
China, they really hitting this market like they,
and they
that's
they
not
they
that's not.
really don't. They got a front. Okay, here go the interior right here. How y'all feel about that?
You got to switch the screen. We can't see it. I think it's try
Oh,
switching to the
let me
next.
okay, let me do this one. Interior. Zamin. Oh, 1 second. Zamin
I'm looking at it
interior.
right here. I mean, we got CTB integrated battery technology, innovative.
Oh, y'all see it? Do y'all
Oh
see the
man, you
interior?
serious?
What? Y'all don't like
This
that TV? You don't like looking
man,
at
It looks
TV?
like a.
if I wanted
It
that, I
just
go buy a
looks like a.
Tesla.
Yeah, it just looks like another Tesla.
Oh, come on,
Everybody's
man. Y'all just
copying
gonna
that
hate on that
format.
car, man. Y'all gonna hate on
Wait,
that.
Everybody's
just
copying that
correct me
format
if
of
I'm
putting the
wrong
iPad on the dashboard and calling it a
and thinking
day.
that's the future. Correct me if I'm wrong. This was made by a former BMW designer.
Yeah,
Is that what that article said?
yeah.
Well, I see why he's a former one. Because this right here, dude, are you telling me that you went
Doesn't
to a
stand
different?
out.
It doesn't. Like why? This one again. Okay, forget the fact that it's not even. If it came to the U.S., I don't even think it would. I mean, if you bought this car, you'd be buying a carbon copy of a Taycan that's less. I think it's just less than. I think not only that, the interior. What is this, man? I mean, this is another screen on wheels. I mean, they're all screen on wheels, but this is just another simple screen on wheels. Like I always said, they used to be no texting and driving. Now they're here saying, here's an iPad to
But it
manage
got
your car
buttons.
while you're driving.
It got buttons though. So y'all gonna hate on them buttons,
Got
right?
some buttons, but
There's
Y'all
some.
y'all y'all
it's
gonna hate
not a
on the
whole lot.
buttons.
Where?
So that's
What
what we
buttons?
doing right now. We
What
putting
buttons?
down
Where they
buttons
at?
underneath the
Where?
screen.
They look like it's part of the screen to me.
No, underneath the
I'm
screen.
You
I'm
talking
looking
about
at
on
a
the on the
thing.
on the on the on the center console?
Let's see.
I'm looking at it right here. I don't see any buttons. I'm looking
I
at a
don't see
closer
any
up of it
buttons.
right
I
here.
see a screen and a center console.
Yeah, y'all don't like that. So okay,
Nah, there's
okay, so
nothing.
okay.
Keep that over there. Don't bring that
Now
market
now
There's
here.
nothing.
now
It's
we
not. Once people figure out it's Chinese, they just gonna dump it. It just doesn't stand out.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah.
now okay. Real. Let's be real now. Like we understand human nature, right? Let's be
Yeah.
real. We understand human nature, right? If I can't afford something, I might
Ye-
buy
You buy the cheaper
the cheaper
version of
version.
it.
So
Buy the
if it
hood
comes
version
to
of it.
America
That's corny.
for 40,000, 40K, because that's how much it costs in China. Let's be real.
That wouldn't
It's not gonna
one.
happen.
It wouldn't be priced here. I don't think it would even be that same price here in America.
Not with that kind of performance. I'm
No, not
imagining
with
that has to be
40,000, man.
like
You're looking. You're
800
looking at
horsepower.
almost double that for that kind of performance.
Okay, let's do
Um,
60.
They saying it starts at 29 grand, undercutting the
so it's even
Model 3 by 4 grand.
Yep.
that car is no, man. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't. Yeah, people. You gonna have people out there gonna say, I'll buy less if I can't afford the top one. I'll get the lesser one. But I think you also factor in the variable that is from China. I think you're gonna have people already check out just on that. I don't think the political atmosphere may not be as crazy as it was about China that it was 20, 30 years ago. But I think, period, anything Chinese, if you were to bring a Chinese car over here and you have people getting, I don't think they're going to say, yeah, I'm going to go get a Chinese car. I just don't see it happening. I think Americans have spewed so much propaganda against China for many, many years. Everything from the things that even though they are a big help of ours when it comes to providing electronics, plastics, things like that, China is like the number one. But behind the scenes, the U.S. I think has spread so much propaganda against China on so many things that car wouldn't even. I don't think it even survive here. It's nice. I mean, it looks like a carbon copy of a Taycan, but I don't think it wouldn't sell here in America at that price, and I don't think people would even buy it just because also it's Chinese and it looks just like a Taycan. I wouldn't see that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to disagree with you strongly on that
Uh,
because, and here's the reason why. Because I understand, and you backtracking, Chris, because we both agreed that if the price was right, then okay, if the price was right, a lot of people will be buying what's affordable, right? So
Yeah,
we
but I think
agreed.
that's a carbon copy of a Taycan, and that plays a big part. Yeah, people are definitely going to pay that less part, but I don't think they're going to spend that for a car looks just like another car.
I think
I
so.
see, and also that it is Chinese. Like we discussed this on the last show. I think if Chinese automakers were to come to America with these other cars that separate themselves, I think you may have some people that may switch. You will probably you will have people that will switch.
Okay, I
But
see
I
your
think
point.
if China were to come here, because we all know the image that China provides when it comes down to the shoe market. They are big in the shoe market and replicating shoes and making
Exactly.
fake types of shoes. So I think if they would
That's
just
the
bring that
thing.
car over here, the amount of uh, uh the amount of hurt that thing would get on its image because it looks just like a Taycan and then it's Chinese. I think you have those two in the same pot mixing. I think that's not going to go very well. Now you bring that Hi-Fi Z over here, or you bring any of those? Oh, okay, then
That
we can have a
stands
discussion.
out.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would even probably most likely see me buying that car. I mean, that thing is very
that thing is
it's
beautiful.
so nice.
I see your reasoning. I see your reasoning, and I somewhat concur with it. But when it comes to human nature, I side with human nature. Set the price right. Set it at a reasonable price. People will buy it in America. You got to understand the older generation. Yeah, they would have some reservation about China. You know, the older generation. I
Yeah,
think our
yeah,
generation, we are a lot more liberal and we are a lot more, and when I say liberal, I don't mean political. I'm just saying liberal
right.
in a sense, right? So we're a lot more liberal and we don't hold any ties to any car company, right? Like the previous generation did. So
Man, I'm
judging
just
by
looking at it here from
human,
what King is putting through it. I mean,
yeah, judging by
um,
human nature, you're gonna have to take an L, Chris. That's a what?
I still, I mean, even then, I mean,
I
you
kind
got
of
people that are
agree
gonna
with
buy
Chris
it.
on this, Donald, but because I mean
Nah, both of y'all wrong.
it's
I
not
mean,
I don't.
Japanese. It's not Japanese. If it was
Yeah, like
coming from
if this
Japan,
car would
maybe,
listen, if this look,
maybe.
if it was coming
If it
from
was
there,
coming from
you
Japan,
would have to worry.
because they got a reputation in Japan that China just
Right.
don't got. So
That's true
Yeah,
too.
so
That's true.
it all comes down to image at the end of the day, and it all comes down to image and reputation. And yeah, if King is right, you had a Japanese car company would have released something like this over here. Yeah, it's gonna do numbers.
and
Oh yeah, it's
plus,
gonna do numbers.
it's gonna get tariffed anyway.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh
exactly.
yeah.
As soon as that thing hits the
But
shores, it's gonna go up in price.
it's
40,000 is
gonna go up.
47,000, 48,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about 7,000, about seven,
Yep.
$8,000. That's about it.
And then dealer markup. Yeah. You
Well,
going
yeah,
yeah. See that thing maybe 54, 55.
that's still reasonable. All right, so we are coming to the report card to see who did good or who did bad. You know. So, are you guys ready to look at the grades and have our discussion?
Oh
All right.
yeah. So
First
we
in
got
line.
some.
First in line is one and only Cadillac. We're gonna sell that stream.
Cadillac.
Cadillac. Stream, sure. Stream Cadillac. Got the Toyota.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That lyric.
Yep. Now look, one of the things I wanted to take from this, we are on carscoops.com, by the way. The author is Brad Anderson, so I just want to make that clear. So one of the things I wanted to showcase about this EV propaganda, because it's a lot of propaganda going on. I don't know why, even on carscoops.com, right? Golly.
They got the ads on car scoop. Wow.
I know.
You had to put a sensory warning on the show, man.
Golly. All
You need to
right.
get an ad blocker. You need to get an ad blocker.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do an
Donald.
ad blocker.
Yeah, you gotta look. Reload the screen.
That's what these Tesla drivers need. That's what those Tesla drivers need.
Oh my God. Okay.
Stop.
Everybody go to I'm gonna
Yeah,
see
you want I can probably pull it up on mine. I can pull it up on mine. Yeah,
Hey, I just want y'all to know
I have ad blocker on.
I just want y'all to know I was not popping any pills. I have not.
Here we go.
We gonna edit that out. we gonna edit that out.
I wasn't popping no pills or anything.
Found them diamonds, man.
All right, so okay, let's go to Cadillac. One of the things I found interesting, and I want you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. It's more of a question I'm posing, but there seems to be a lot of propaganda surrounding this EV, right? And so even when we are reading the titles, right, Cadillac sales fall for every model except for one that surges 499%, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. Okay, from the onset looking in, right, on the outside looking in, what do you think when you see that title? Like, what type of numbers are you thinking?
Well, it just sounds like, if I didn't know any better, I'm thinking like, oh man, that's the number one selling vehicle in Cadillac's lineup, and wow, that thing has got a very, very high demand. It is got to be selling 30,000, vehicles in the first quarter, and that's not what's happening.
It's actually not what's going on at all.
Because if something
it's not doing no Tesla numbers or nothing.
If it, say, for instance, sold one car and it goes up 499%, you know what that means? 499 cars. So
yeah.
You gotta have something.
It's a very small margin. You gotta understand a little bit of basic statistics to understand that that's actually not what's going on. They're not selling in the 30, 40, 50, 60,000
No, not
units
of course
range.
not.
I mean,
Not. You know, it's not going to be a big number. I mean, and I know what the number is already.
Okay.
Uh,
the
So,
car itself is yeah, no, it's not there. I mean, no, the car is there, but in terms of sales, no, it's not.
okay, cool. So let's look at the numbers. Quarter one for 2024, the
Let me
Lyriq
look down here.
sold 5,800.
Yeah,
5,800 cars. Yes, and
Yep.
it's behind the XT5 still. And
yeah,
but to give
Exactly.
it
and
credit,
that car is out of production.
It's the only vehicle that had an increase in sales for Cadillac this quarter.
Mm-hmm.
All the other
Because
vehicles lost some. So
man, the CT4 is man, that thing
it's
ain't doing it.
struggling quite a lot, which
Yeah,
is very interesting. We're gonna talk about that later too.
Okay.
Um, you know, it's
but
interesting.
yeah, the Lyriq is lacking behind, and the XT is behind the XT5, and the XT5 is not even no longer even in production. Um, but I think it's a very small margin compared to these two. We had 5,800 versus 6275. I mean, you look at those two. I think that's a good sign that it is on the up. People people want to buy it, and people are noticing.
But guess what?
Um,
What?
what?
Here's the catch. They're offering Cadillac is giving it $10,000 off the hood.
That's right. Yeah,
Now, whether or
they
not
damn
that
near
includes
free.
the tax credits or not, or the state incentives,
Yeah,
I don't even know. But all I know is that thing is offering just under 10,000 off the price of that car.
yeah,
And I don't
yeah.
think that has included tax credit. That shows that because listen, the car is more expensive than the XT6, which is a bigger 3-row crossover, right? More space and this and
Right.
that. And it still costs more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's got 300 miles of range, and that's it. So, yeah, but if you take $20,000 off the price of it,
If you took
maybe you
ten
got a
thousand
deal.
dollars off, yeah, you took $20,000 off a CT5, you that car would be probably the top selling sedan in this class. I
True.
mean, that's pretty much almost giving away. Not you're not giving away for
I
free, but
I sell my car right now.
man, you wouldn't see me coming to work tomorrow with no Mazda. I'll tell you that. You wouldn't see me in no Mazda.
Oh man. Unless it's a Mazda, the next Mazda 6, Chris. Unless it's that, maybe.
Well, they released? Are there concept
No,
images on that?
no, no.
See, we go. So we can't jump to conclusions yet.
But
I don't know.
I,
We're
I
talking
just
about a CT5, Mazda 6 CT. Ah, man. Woo. I don't know, man.
well,
That
the,
CT5,
the
this
car
is the
hasn't.
V.
The car has not been. That car hasn't even been confirmed that it's
Yeah,
even going to be,
right. We haven't seen any
you know,
photos of it or nothing. So
released once again. They haven't even made a decision of whether or not they're going to build that car. So, um, if there's no concept photos of it or nothing like that, we don't even know if they're going to bring back the Mazda 6. It's not in production anymore. So,
yeah,
um, the only sedan that Mazda has is the 3. So,
yeah. I mean, even just looking, let's look at this one right here too. Look at that Silverado EV, 1,000 sales, 1,000 units.
yeah, those
Man,
things are not going to
uh,
sell.
I mean, this is about the same number you could look at even for Ford. I mean,